You should get a fade. I need a haircut. I need a haircut. I agree. Donate to me so I can afford one. Haircuts are expensive. Haircuts are expensive when you tip well, because you can't tip 20% at a haircut. You know? If you're tipping 20% for a coffee, you can't be tipping 20% for a haircut. The math doesn't math. I thought male haircuts were cheap, only if you're heterosexual. Get cornrows? What about that one Photoshop of me where I have waves? Where I look like, Norman Osborn? I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about it. I don't know. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying that I think that there's something about it. Do you think it actually looked like that? Well, I don't actually know how you make your hair do this. So I couldn't really say. I don't know what, like, the practical consequence would be, to be honest. White Drake? I don't want that. I don't want that being put out there. Don't say that. That's not the association that I want. I hate it on anyone. Hair shouldn't be that geometrically perfect. Okay, wait. Counterpoint. What is that one? I think it's like West African hairstyle trend where it's like old African tribal culture that's like been reclaimed in the modern era in a post-colonial sense, where they shape their hair into like really funky style. I think the Met Gala had somebody repping it back like 4 or 5 years ago. It's you have your hair shaped out like a sculpture. Does anyone know the name of that? Hold on. African sculpture hairstyle. I don't even know if it corresponds to like a particular country now. They have whole competitions for that? Yeah. It has like a specific look to it. It's not, it doesn't look like it's done with a bunch of curls or braids or whatever. It's like a solid mass of hair. I don't really understand how they do it, to be honest. Like that? No, not like that. I can't find what I'm thinking of. I'm seeing like different... Oh, did you see the thing that I saw on Twitter where it turns out that girl who does the cool hair sculpture stuff is a TERF? That sucks. Check out these trendy African hairstyles throughout history. Nah, this ain't it. Yeah, I can't find it, sorry. In Colombia, black people have braiding contests. That's different. You just... Okay, listen, I said in Africa, not braids. And you're like, well, I know a hair black people, black hair thing. Hair black, hair black, melanin, black people hair. And then you posted that link. Like this. Okay, this is an example. I see versions of this all over, like people posting fashion history. It's one of the reasons why I really hate it's one of the reasons I really hate fucking dark academia, okay? When you are looking up stuff like this, and this is the titling that you see, 25 vintage portraits of African women with their amazing traditional hairstyles. What the fuck does that mean? First of all, African? Like the most ethno-linguistically diverse continent on the planet? Vintage? What do you mean vintage? Vintage is a contemporary term. Vintage means like when you take something from the past and put it in today. Vintage would be if a person started wearing old, outdated hairstyles today. It's not in the past. Oh, this is a vintage medieval portrait of a guy dying from bubonic plague. No, it's just an old painting. And traditional hairstyles? What's the name of it? You think they just called it that? Like every one of the 50 trillion fucking tribes in Africa all throughout pre-modern history were all like, oh yeah, we call this our traditional hairstyle. I hate this shit. It's clickbait tag farming to maximize SEO. AI slop. It's not AI. But it is slop. Vaush, it's called Amasunzu. Holy shit, I think you might be right. Sakar, are you the least racist Sakar! The least racist person in chat. All the rest of you? You should be fucking ashamed. Now look, behold at what I was trying to show you the whole time. That's some shit. Now, with a knowledge of what the name of the hairstyle actually is, we are not grasping at straws with fucking hair sculpting and traditional black hair. Now we have a very specific understanding of what we're looking for. Yeah, basically, so my point is I should do this. I should look like this. Or something. Type shit. Insane aura. My first thought was Japanese. You know, I actually can't fault you for that. I do feel like there's something weirdly samurai-esque about the aura to these photos. I don't think there's anything like real to that. I just feel like there's just something like a kind of like emotional austerity and coldness to it in an incredibly like badass way. You know what I mean? It's hard as fuck. It's really, really cool. How do you do this shit with your hair, man? I have no, and they were doing this shit like not with modern hair products. That's just crazy. So much effort. Shaped by a katana. Black hair is just more structurally sound. This is not all black hair. Isn't this like 4C or so? I'm sorry, I am white. Disclaimer, in case you couldn't tell by looking at me. There's like a lot of variety. There's more variety in the types of hair that black people have on average than white people, right? Like people simplify, like from the outside, it's like, oh yeah, black people have curly hair. But from the inside, it's like, well, which one of the 17 varieties of curly hair? You know? 4C is too broad. Yeah, I get that. Okay, here we go. Wait, this was Lupita at the, is this the Met Gala? This is what I was referring to when somebody rocked it at the Met Gala. I don't know if it's the Met Gala. Lupita Nyong'o? It's a little more toned down than some of the older ones, but like you can see like with the shaping. That's pretty cool. Here we go. Oh, that looks really good. What about this? Okay, so you sent me a Pinterest image called Nubian braids, and we're not talking about braids, I think. But then it says Ethiopian hairstyle. Now, I want to call you or Pinterest racist, but I actually don't know because I'm racist. Is the old Nubian Empire where Ethiopia is now? Or did this Pinterest author just use Nubian as a synonym for black? No? Okay, they used Nubian as a synonym for black. Like when white guys with Hawaiian shirts in their 50s will say, like, my Nubian princess, when referring to a girlfriend they picked up 20 years their junior in Atlanta. Okay, all right, I gotcha. Top 10 urban hairstyles. White guys who cross the street when they see... Okay, wait, hold on. Listen, okay? Not to give credit where it's not due, but I would be terrified if I saw like a group of 6 or 7 men walking in formation down the street like this. I would assume they would have, like, swords. For sure. 100%, yeah. You can call that racial bias if you... I don't think it is. Frankly, I just think that's very, very basic, like, aura recognition. If you're walking down the street and you see something that looks like a JoJo enemy, like, stand user group, you cross the street. It's not even like a race thing, you know? I'd avoid them if they were white, too. Thank you, my anti-racist brethren. Vaush, I wanted to ask you about a point you talked about yesterday, men not benefiting from sexism, white people not benefiting from racism. So is that different from white/male privilege? Privilege is relative. When I talk about, like, male or white privilege, I'm talking about it, like, in the like, usually white or male privilege means not having to deal with the shit the disprivileged group has to deal with. It's not so much like an absolute benefit that wouldn't exist in a non-racist world. Does that make sense? You can argue that there's some, like, margin to this, right? Like, if you assume a finite number of absolute jobs available, and white privilege allows white people to get more of them than black people, and in an anti-racist world, you would have, like, an equal number of white and black people proportionally not getting employed. Like, you can argue there are some, in a zero-sum game sense, but for the most part, I think when we talk about privilege, we're just talking about not get, like, it's that, like, when we talk about ending sexism, for example, we don't usually talk about treating men the way we treat women. We talk about treating women the way we treat men. Like, male privilege might be getting taken seriously in, like, a business call, but our solution to that wouldn't be like, well, in an anti-sexist world, you know, nobody would get taken seriously because of their sex, right? It'd just be like, okay, well, you just treat everyone normal, basically. That's the idea, I guess, you know. Just joined, Vaush. Did you get a haircut? Looks nice. Oh, you like it? Yeah, I just got it. Wait. Yeah, you like it? I just got it done. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it like this because they applied a lot of product at the barbers. But honestly, I've been like, I don't even want to be streaming right now. I want to be like walking around downtown. Some Fulani styles. Ooh, that looks sick. See what I mean about how, like, traditional African hairstyles doesn't really do it? because this doesn't really look anything like this. Like, it's totally different techniques for structuring the hair. You know? How do they even do that shit? The crazy thing to me is that they did that shit, like, probably in a time when they had to worry about hunting and gathering, right? Because there are parts of Africa where, like, widespread agricultural development wasn't really possible until relatively recent irrigation techniques. So we're talking about people who were, like, in between, we need to, like, hunt meat for food, we should do some sick shit with our hair, which is really cool to me. I guess it kind of speaks to, like, the idea that art isn't something we do when we're bored or in our leisure time. It's like a fundamental part of our like, self-expression as a human. You know what I mean? I guess it's just, like, it's cooler to think of, like, the desire to do something that is, in a purely, like, objective survival sense, an absolute waste of time. Something so elaborate when you have such pressing concerns. It's like, it elevates us as a species, I think, you know? Pastoral nomads, not really hunter-gatherers. I'm not speaking from, I don't know how old the tradition goes back, or which parts of Africa developed, like, sort of agrarian styles at what points, but I'm pretty sure, didn't people who live in, like, the central area of, like basically anything that wasn't, like, near the Mediterranean or down south of the, like, jungly part in the center, like, that area, they couldn't really farm until the Sahel, they couldn't really farm until recently, right? Because the climate there sucks shit. It's, like, really difficult. Or am I, like, totally off on that? There are still hunter-gatherers in Africa. I mean, there are still hunter-gatherers in America, right? Depending on how far off the grid you want to go. No, the Sahel was green. No. I know the Sahel was green, but there's a difference between, like, arable land and good land for agriculture, right? Because, like, the Nile was sick for agriculture. The whole thing was like a floodplain, right? So you could farm, like, an insane amount of shit. I remember my Civ 4 games, okay? It was all floodplains around the cities. Does it even make sense to do agriculture with that much megafauna that would eat your shit? Do you think, like, hippos were charging in and eating the, like, potatoes? That would fucking suck, dude. Can you imagine? Civ 4 was the best Civ game, wasn't it? Yep! Agriculture in pre-modern Africa. Okay, in West Africa, they had farming long ago. But I'm thinking, like, in the Sahel, right? The Fertile Crescent developed agriculture first, around 9000 BCE. Yeah, because there are some parts of Africa that are, like, I'm pretty sure that there are some parts of Africa that are more fertile than basically anywhere else in the world. Like, if you shit in a ditch, the next day you come over, there's a human plant. Or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm sorry. Bantu headed out of West Africa, headed south. All right. This is a lot more complicated than I thought, which I guess is usually the case when you learn about something. Sub-Saharan Africa enjoyed the advantages of foraging for a very long time, even though West Africa was one of the first regions in the world after the Fertile Crescent and East Asia to develop agriculture, and independently at that. However, there's a huge gap of around 2,000 years before farming spread into the rest of Africa. Only from 1000 BCE to 500 CE did the people of most regions of sub-Saharan Africa start farming, considerably later than some other regions of the world. Interesting. They had way less rivers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I guess, like, it's probably a mix, right? Like, you probably had the loser virgins who would do the, like, subsistence farming while the Chad hunter-gatherers would wander around and do other stuff. Doesn't sub-Saharan Africa not have any natural disasters? Is that true? I don't think they're on a fault line. Not really a hurricane area. Tornadoes only affect white people. There are literally volcanoes there. Droughts? Okay, a drought is a natural disaster, but I don't think that's what people really mean, right? Sandstorms, there's a desert. Can I be real with you guys? I still have no idea what the fuck a sandstorm is. Like, a sandstorm still feels like a fake video game hazard to me. I know they happen. It is, It's not really something I've thought about. No, I understand what a thank you. No, I wasn't confused on the mechanics of a sandstorm. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you clarifying the imagined confusion. I mostly just think of, like, Mad Max Fury Road. Dude, LA has firestorms and you don't believe in sandstorms? Yeah, because a firestorm isn't really a thing. A firestorm is just when it's windy and fire, and then the fire gets caught in the wind. But a sandstorm is like a massive wave. It's like that one photo. You've seen the photo. The one of the sandstorm that's about to encompass the entire city. Why can't I find the... Oh, there we go. With the Doge in the center. Yeah, this is the edit with the Doge removed. I don't think this is actually the photo, but you know what I mean. It's crazy. Like, it's because you don't really think of wind as having, like, a front. I mean, not visually. You can't see wind, but it's just crazy to think about. It's beautiful. I don't think I'd want to be there. I guess it's like beautiful in an abstract, kind of like I'm not there sort of way. This is called a haboob. I don't know if it's... You keep saying that. I don't know if that's true, and you might be asking me to say a slur, and I wouldn't know because I'm a white boy. Did you know volcanoes cause lightning? Also crazy. Well, lightning can be caused by any kind of, like, atmospheric particulate, right? So volcanic eruptions, sandstorms, like in Mad Max Fury Road, also cause lightning because you have agitation in all the particles. Does anyone else think that would be a really cool, like, anime character? Because there are lots of anime characters or superheroes or whatever that can control lightning. Why isn't there one that has, like, a big cloud of particulates that it uses to generate the lightning? Wouldn't that be really cool? Like, if they control a big, like, hazy cloud of iron fillings or something, and they don't really use it to, like, form swords or whatever the normal thing you would do with that is, but rather they, like, charge lightning from the sky and blast people? Gyro makes lightning? That's true. That's true. That's true. That's fair. Did you know East Africa is splitting in two? Fucking white people. The continent is slowly splitting apart, creating a new ocean. White people always get what they want, man. Wasn't there a European, like, post-Renaissance geoengineer a little while ago who was like, we should create a Mediterranean Sea inside of Africa? We should, like, flood the center of North Africa and turn it into a new sea? With nukes, no less. That's not based. Leave Africa alone. Isn't that what you want to do to Australia? Yeah, and somebody emailed me explaining why it'd be a bad idea, but they did it after I warned them that I don't read emails that thoroughly. So I don't care. I want it to happen. I don't really care.